There are currently more than 300 million Bitcoin holders, but only approximately 2 million XRP holders. Just think about that for a while. Picture yourself among 40,000 spectators at a stadium. If the numbers are to be believed, just under 10% of that group actually owns XRP. At this very moment, being an XRP holder is quite rare. Now for the exciting part, we would be talking about more than just a little price change if XRP adoption were to match Bitcoin's. If this were to happen, the crypto space would never have witnessed a market transformation like this. Plus, I'll explain in detail why the coming years might be the most eventful for XRP today. We are not providing financial advice. Let me tell you the truth. If you remove inactive wallets and dust accounts, Bitcoin's name awareness and percentage of the global population holding it drops to 4%, while XRP's percentage drops to 0.2% to 0.2%. There are only about 1.5 to 2 million actual XRP holders worldwide. When you exclude the wallets holding negligible amounts of XRP that haven't changed hands in years, things start to heat up. Now, imagine for a second that the number of XRP holders skyrockets from 2 million to the 338 million that Bitcoin now has. There are now 168 times as many unique holders. An asset with a cap could experience a demand shock that causes its price to skyrocket to heights that are unattainable today. This isn't some made-up scenario either. Blockchain technology has a steep adoption curve. This has happened previously. It may take months, not decades, when the correct institutional, retail, and worldwide utility variables come together. When it comes to alignment, the key to staying ahead of these kinds of developments is to pick assets with the most upside potential before everyone else. For this reason, I have compiled the definitive approach to become a wealthy investor. Find 100x stocks. Documents, charts, photos, films, and in-depth research abound in this resource, revealing the potential origins of the next big movers. Located in the first remark, you'll find the link. Purchase it immediately while supplies last. The instrument you'll use to seize opportunities is here. If you're the type of investor that doesn't like to sit on their hands and let them slip away, moving on to XRP now. The facts are as follows. Roughly 8.37 billion people will call the world home by the year 2027. To what extent does XRP adoption reach even 4%? The same number of holders as Bitcoin, which is 335 million. The demand has surged from 2 million to 335 million like a tidal wave. A spike of this magnitude has the potential to push XRP into triple-digit territory, according to even the most conservative predictions. With 100 million holders, some analysts predict a 170,000 per token price. And with 600 million or more, XRP might attain Bitcoin-level popularity. Not even considering the current utility cases for XRP will do that. The utility cases are enormous. Transact at the speed of light with steady coin liquidity, institutional FX settlements, and cross-border payments, all for pennies per transaction. The necessary infrastructure is currently being put in place to accommodate this kind of utility, which is highly sought after by financial institutions, payment networks, and even governments. As an example, the US financial markets linchpin, the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation, DTCC, has been vocal about its intention to tokenize assets on-chain valued at $100 trillion. They have openly stated that the T+1 deal is insufficient. They are interested in utilizing blockchain rails for real-time settlement. Their patent filings reveal that XRP, XLM, H, and other assets have been part of their testing process. Give that some consideration. An annual total of more than 2 trillion worth of securities transactions are cleared by the DTCC. A former head of DTCC is now a member of Ripple's board of directors, and the company has deep ties to the US Stocks and Exchange Commission SEC, which keeps records for all publicly traded US stocks. The demand implications are just mind-blowing if even a small portion of the 100 trillion tokenization project goes through XRP. Moreover, there is more. It is becoming more difficult to disregard the subtle signals emanating from the ETF space. Bitwise 10 will now be an exchange-rated fund ETF, including XRP thanks to SEC approval. That may not be an ETF just yet, but it does show some weakness. When will a spot XRP ETF be available? That is the most important question. When that occurs, there is a confluence of factors, including retail inflows, institutional acceptance, and mainstream media coverage. A lot of people are talking about it on social media. An ancient pickup truck with a
gas can affixed to the side in a military style and with a large bold X is seen in the photo. People are wondering if it's a subtle hint toward XRP because of it, and the references to Ripple in the essay. It could be insignificant, or perhaps it's just the kind of subtle hint that usually spreads before big news hits. And this is the broader view. Progress and adoption does not occur in a straight line. The rate of growth is just astounding. Consider the following scenario: a large number of retail investors pouring money into utility-driven assets, DTCC launching tokenized settlement rails, and a spot ETF approval. As XRP continues to gain popularity, its adoption rate could drop from years to months. Price discovery isn't slow. It's explosive when demand increases for a digital asset with a fixed supply. We can go even further into the figures after we follow the data. Present holdings of XRP by the 2 million active holders, future distribution of XRP holdings as the holder base grows, and the precise market capitalization consequences of each key adoption milestone. All right, I'll explain it as follows. Approximately 55 billion XRP tokens are currently in circulation. Its market cap is in the tens of billions at the current pricing levels. Beneficial for an altcoin, but little in comparison to the magnitude it is aiming for. This is the part that many folks overlook. Market capitalization is more complex than just the product of price and circulating supply. As a matter of fact, it is the product of the marginal buyer's willingness to pay. In addition, the cryptocurrency market is far less robust than the global stock or commodities markets. If demand suddenly increases, particularly from sources other than retail, prices will not respond accordingly. Their rate of growth is massive. In the first possible outcome, the number of XRP wallets increases from the current 2 million to 100 million. That's a 50-fold increase in engagement, but it's still far short of Bitcoin. Forecasts based on existing wallet distributions, normal inflow behavior, and adoption curves in the past indicate that this might cause market cap to rise into the $10 trillion area with a per-token value of XRP of roughly $177. That doesn't even account for the network's capacity to handle large amounts of institutional settlements or severe supply burns. Things really start to heat up in scenario 2. Roughly 335 million people, or about 4% of the world's population, possess XRP, matching Bitcoin's present acceptance level. There are now 168 times as many unique holders. According to their predictions, the market valuation of XRP will reach $35 trillion and the token price will be about $600. To put that in context, it's the same as combining the present market capitalization of all cryptocurrencies and then increasing it by 1. These figures may seem enormous to those unfamiliar with cryptocurrency, yet there are receipts in history. In 2013, Bitcoin's market valuation was less than $1 billion. By 2021, it had risen to over $1 trillion. In 2007, Ethereum's market valuation was just $15 million. By 2021, it had risen to almost $200 billion, and at its height, it was over $500 billion. The event in each case wasn't precipitated by idle guesswork. Adoption and scarcity were meeting. XRP possesses each of those features in addition to a practical use for settlement that none of those assets do. There is an uneven benefit in that utility. Instantaneous transfers at fractions of a penny, stable coin settlement, cross-border payments, and institutional foreign exchange liquidity. Those are not characteristics of MeCoin. These issues with the current banking system are worth $1 trillion. Furthermore, the organizations in charge of that system are already hard at work laying the groundwork to fix these problems. Now we arrive at the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation, better known as the DTCC. This isn't some tiny finance company. It supports the U.S. financial markets from the bottom up. In their role as chief record keeper, they process and finalize the sale of all U.S. publicly listed securities. Their yearly settlement volume is over $2 quadrillion measured in quadrillions. This is the part that the general public is ignoring. In a public statement, the DTCC said that they are moving assets worth $100 trillion onto the blockchain. Tokenization procedures that they have patented include several digital assets, including but not limited to Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, XLM, HBR, and others. The present industry standard T+1 settlement is no longer acceptable. According to them, the solution to their need for instant settlement is blockchain rails. If a fraction of $1 trillion in tokenization goes to Frog Sharpie, it's a scam. Ripples have deep ties to the Hydras, who have earned rumors about their collaboration with Clink Together Partners and the payment system Okra. Additionally, Chirp's technical profiler is fast, cheap, scholastic, and responsive to SOFA complaints. Does exactly what is needed. When discussing Kirby King's opt to bid in Aiden, how do we do it? A hit is not necessary. Lit-in digital gold bitten is a valuable asset. The Kirby layer is a structural one. Although the adopt-in roots are distinct, the killing potential for an asset in a global settlement may be greater. Win a baptismal font. Therefore, there are two options available to you as an investor. Tend to your position early before the catalysts coincide, or wait for headlines to read about XRP's run beyond $50 and fear of missing out. Get my definitive guide to investing in multi-asset portfolios if you're serious about making money in this market. Locate stocks with a 100x return. This download is solid. Discover the next big movers before they make it into the news with this comprehensive toolset that includes in-depth analysis, data, and visualizations. See the pinned comment for the link. It's the most effective action you can take right now to ride the wave to success. Plus, if you use my Moomoo link in the pinned remark, you can get free NVDA shares worth up to $1,000 when you invest $100. Indeed, that is NVIDIA, a leading artificial intelligence AI player in the industry, and it's free when you create an account. We should return to the ETF perspective now. Notably, XRP is a component of the Bitwise 10 ETF, which has just been approved by the SEC. This means that a publicly traded fund can be formed to hold, manage, and bundle XRP. The formal filing and approval are the last hurdles standing between us and a spot XRP ETF, and if passed as prologue, a deluge of filings will ensue as soon as the first one is approved. Because they connect conventional brokerage accounts directly to the asset, spot ETFs alter the playing field. Both individual investors and large institutions which are unable to purchase cryptocurrency exchanges directly due to regulations will pour money into the market as a result. The crucial point, though, is this position. Rapid adoption is occurring. Blockchain technology has been evident in Bitcoin and Ethereum, as well as other non-crypto tech developments such as the internet and cell phones. The initial expansion is modest and goes unnoticed. The growth curve then climbs vertical once a few catalysts hit, leading to a spike in awareness. Everything is falling into place for XRP at this point. Institutional tokenization initiatives, the growing popularity of exchange-rated funds, ETFs, the need for clear regulations, and the growing interest from ordinary investors. Consider this viewpoint. They won't be creating more XRP coins when the next 300 million individuals decide they want some. The current holders are being purchased by them, and those who possess it are fully aware of its value. They're not selling for a pittance. For that reason, parabolic movements do occur. At each price point, the available supply is depleted, and the subsequent marginal trade takes place at a higher level. Knowing the arithmetic before everyone else does it is now your top priority. As of right now, XRP is held by a mere 0.02% to 0.2% of the world's population. A rarer commodity than early Bitcoin adopters is that because the early and well-informed participants in such marketplaces reap the greatest rewards, the difference between participating now and later could be a matter of life and death. Is it more your style to sit on the sidelines and watch the action unfold in 2025 and 2026? Or would you rather be the one to hold the type of position that people will be talking about for decades, since the simple portion of the transition will have been ended by the time XRP passes 100O is shouted in the headlines? So, get into position right away. My comprehensive guide to become a millionaire investor is available for grabs. Be sure to check the pinned comment for 100x stocks and use my Moomoo link to secure your free NVIDIA stock up to $1,000 before this wave strikes. In the end, you'll be glad you did it. The adoption curve is about to bend upward. Time is running out and the rails are being laid. When it happens, the only thing that will matter is whether you took action when the numbers were tiny or when they were too great to ignore.